everybody, welcome to the Albion Obsessed podcast. We are on episode 16, or 2 days after Christmas. We are here with Kurtis, Tom, and Aaron. Kurtis, how was your Christmas, mate?
Not too bad, mate. Yeah, pretty
Good.
festive and turkey and stuff. You know, the usual. So.
Amazing. Glad to have you back on. It's been
Thank
a
you.
while.
It has.
Good to see you looking well.
Thank you.
Tom, how was your Christmas, buddy? First one with the little one.
Oh, it was magical. He got a little Brighton shirt. He got his little Brighton kit, and I had a proper dad moment where I dressed him in it. I was like, "Oh my god, my boy's wearing his Brighton." So yeah, it was amazing, mate. Amazing.
Perfect. Aaron, mate, how was your Christmas? I hope you wasn't working too much.
I didn't work a great deal. No, I'd done a 7-hour shift on Christmas Day, but nothing horrendous. Finished by 1 o'clock. And just sort of chilled with the family, mate, and then just went to bed at about 7:30 and was going to go into work Boxing Day, but felt absolutely vile when I woke up, so I didn't go in. So
fair enough.
Times.
Makes sense. I think I can speak for all of us when we say we had a wonderful Boxing Day. Started off with Crystal Palace losing 3-0 to Tottenham, and a certain man getting a red card. Tom, I know you've got something to say about that. There you go. That's all that needs to be said.
Excellent.
But yeah, as you say, Kurtis, before we started recording, I'm sure we'll see a transfer request in January from that certain man.
And just like usual, he won't go bloody anywhere. So
exactly. But enough about them, boys, because we won a game on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Kurtis, you've got a little fact about that.
Yeah, let me just get my notes. No, it's our first win on a Boxing Day since 2005.
I say,
which is insane.
A beautiful Christmas miracle. Both me and Aaron were at the game. We were messaging beforehand on the group chat,
waving to each other, right?
in the furthest end of the West Stand, away from the North, and still managed to wave at each other. So we'd take it. But I think it was helped out by my very, very bright white.
It was very bright. Very bright.
But there you go. Cool. And we scored 2 goals. Not only did we score 2 goals, guys, we scored 2 goals from open play.
Pretty crazy.
I think, Tom, you said our first goals from open play at home since September.
Yeah, it was magical. Christmas miracle.
It truly was. But yeah, Aaron, I'll start with you, mate, because you were at the game in the North. From your perspective, did you enjoy it? I hope you did.
Yeah, fantastic first half. First half, it was probably one of the best, if not best performance of the season out of the Amex by far. Everything we were doing was just spot on. I think we looked really solid at the back. Midfield, we also looked very, very good. Lallana and Muepu played very, very well. Credit where credit is due. He had a fantastic game yesterday. And Modera did as well. And then Trossard and Morpay doing what they do best, but doing what they get paid to do is score goals. And especially the first goal, I as soon as Muepu hit it, I said to my dad, he's overhit that. And then I've just seen Trossard just somehow stick a leg up and watched it back when I got home last night. The technique on that is unbelievable.
Yeah, it was
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And same with the Morpay goal as well. He probably has not hit a cleaner strike than that all season.
No.
Like because we were literally right behind it. So like as soon as he hit it, I was like, "It's in." And yeah, great goals. Second half, professional performance. We didn't have to do a great deal. Brentford grew into the game, and you always had that. I did especially. I had this the little feeling, if they get one, their tails are going to be up, and we'll be up against it. Similar to what it would be like against Leicester when we got our last home win, or last win. You know, when they got a goal and it was backs to the wall, and the fact we came out of that with a 3 point still baffles me, but we did. But last night, I don't think anyone could say we didn't deserve 3 points. I think it was honest, very, very professional performance. Very pleasing as well. Very pleasing. And probably deserved. To be honest, I think we've been in games this year where we haven't played badly and come away with 0-0s or 1-0s or even going losing games. But yeah, last night we deserved everything we got. Very pleasing. Very, very, very Merry Christmas.
Indeed.
Loved it.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously Brentford came out second half and gave a little bit more. I thought every time they were attacking, it did look a little bit toothless, but I didn't want to say anything at the time because you know what happens. The moment you mention that they're looking toothless, they will score. So yeah, I was a little bit on tender hooks, but defensively, I thought we were absolutely first class. Dan Burn and especially Adam Webster coming back into the side. We mentioned
he
him
was
before we
class.
started recording. Absolutely top class, and you can see what we miss when he's not in the side. And I just hope he can stay fit now. Because again, we were talking before this, and obviously Lewis Dunk's England chances are a little bit gone. I think it sort of put them on the back burner. But Adam Webster, for me, really could have a chance if he carries on and stays fit and stays consistent. But you know, it's Gareth Southgate, isn't it? Kurtis, how did you view the game?
I mean, to echo a lot of what Aaron said, it was just a really good professional game. Like, I thought we played just incredibly well as a team. The 2 goals were really, really good. I mean, just to set those up, it was just like the Trossard goal. I thought the same thing. I thought, oh no, that's just way over. That's not going to anyone. And then it happened. I was like, Christ, a goal! Wow. But it was just really, really good. And as you said, defensively, we looked really solid. I mean, I tend to worry a little bit about Burn sometimes, but he had a really great game, a really, really great game. And we just deserve the points. We played so well, so well.
For sure. Aaron doesn't worry about Dan Burn. Aaron, can you just tell the viewers just exactly what you think of that man?
Dan Burn is a god amongst us mortal men. he is a hero.
Fair dues.
I always joke about with one of my mates, Angus, and just say, he's prime Maldini. He's quality, no issues at all. Obviously, it's Dan Burn. We all know what he's like. But he was superb last night.
He really
I honestly couldn't. As soon as I think he had that clearance off the line when they had that offside chance. And I thought to myself, I was like, okay, he switched on. He looks solid. And like throughout the game, like especially the first half, the way we sort of controlled the ball around the back, there wasn't any sort of moment where I think, God, he's got the ball. So where are we going with this? Like every time he would play the ball, he would play the right ball. And him and Webster especially. I think there was one pass. No, it was to be fair, it was Sanchez off the floor, and he's just clipped it effortlessly straight over the top to Trossard, like beautiful diagonal ball. And it was like, we were oozing confidence. And that's sometimes, I think, what we've been missing over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks. Well, to be fair, during this month.
Yeah.
I think we've been missing a little bit of quality, I think.
Yeah.
And a little bit of belief. And yesterday we had that.
Yeah, for sure. We saw that against Wolves. It was, misplaced passes all over the place. Was that the last time we played a game? Was Wolves?
It was,
it was.
Yeah. And Tom, how nice was it to finally celebrate a goal again?
I just text you boys. We did a goal. It was lovely to score. To score again. I think you could often criticize the team about not taking chances, maybe going one up and then just sitting back, but we didn't do that. And it was really nice to see just the amount of creativity that was on the pitch. I think echoing what we said about Adam Webster and how great it's been to have him back. But I also thought it was fantastic to see Adam Lallana get the captain's armband. And I thought it was a captain's performance from Lallana. I thought he got us pressing well. He looked to play the ball forward whenever he could. And I just thought the midfield in general was just really strong. And before the game, I was a bit, not uneasy, but I raised my eyebrows to see that we were playing a back 4. Because I always think that if we play a back 4 with Lamptey, we're not going to get the best out of him because he's a wing back. He likes to bomb forward.
Right.
But maybe it's because we didn't have Lamptey as that outlet, but it meant that our midfield was... it was just their intertwining chain. All the passes it was just really slick passing game, and it's what happened with the second goal, the Neil Maupay goal. Some lovely interchanging passing, and then Moda just slips it through to Maupay. it was just excellent. So I think we really bossed the midfield. I thought Mwepu was excellent as well. So you really can't ask for much more of a performance. The first half was excellent attacking wise, and in the second half, as Aaron's already said, we had to be really professional, had to pick our moments. We had a few forays into their half, had a few chances to score again, but generally I thought the defensive work in the second half was excellent all over the pitch. So it was just really nice to celebrate those goals and to celebrate another 3 points, and which saw us move back up into the top 10.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned about Lallana, obviously that was a conversation a few podcasts ago about who might get that captaincy if there were a few absentees. Great to see him have the armband, because he has got the quality, to be a captain and to be a great one at that. Really enjoyed seeing him in that role. You mentioned about Tarek Lamptey. Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like he's a much better outlet when he's in a back five, or if you call it part of the midfield four. I don't know how, however Graham Potter plays it really. But yeah, I felt he was rather limited at right back rather than right wing back. So a little bit annoying to not see him bombing down the wings, but also a really smart performance from him as well, because he knew he had to be cautious going forwards.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was about to say that.
So yeah, top class from him, and it shows another side of his game as well.
Exactly.
And he is a really, really intelligent footballer. And
he's got a big future ahead of him.
Absolutely,
massive,
he does.
Absolutely massive. Everyone mentions his size. For me, that's not a problem at
Doesn't
all.
hinder him at all. Doesn't hinder him at all.
As long as you're smart, as long as you know exactly what your role is, and he executes it absolutely perfectly. Really fair play to him. We'll go on to man of the matches, guys, just to see who was your star performer. Kurtis, from watching on TV, who would you pick out?
For me, kind of tough, because it was between two people for me. It was between Dan Burn and Enoch. I'll give it to Enoch. I think Mwepu. I thought he had a fantastic game. He actually really surprised me. I wasn't sure how he was gonna do, but he just really surprised me. He did really well. Yeah.
Decent, yeah, and that ball through for Trossard was
exactly
pinpoint.
really
obviously, I know Aaron mentioned it looked a little bit overhit, to be honest.
Apparently, it's got a name. I saw some
Zimbabwean name. I read that this morning.
It translates to I see you or something like that.
Wow.
I saw
that.
That's
idea that even if he doesn't have to look, he knows the space you're going to run into.
That's top class. Yeah,
I'll find the link. I'll find it on Twitter.
To have that technique is brilliant, and obviously Trossard, that man is just unreal. He's really quickly becoming one of my favourite Albion players of all time. Tom, who would you pick as your star man?
I think if it was just the first half, I would have picked Trossard, because I think he was just scintillating. Yeah. I think he really is. If he keeps this form going, he'll be one of those players that come the summer, I'll be worried that we'll be seeing him depart for pastures new. But for over the whole 90 minutes, I've got to give it to Adam Lallana. As I say, captain's performance from him, fantastic leadership, really controlled that midfield alongside Mwepu, who was also another contender for me. I just thought he was excellent, really, really important in that build up to the second goal as well. So yeah, Lallana for me, great to have him back.
And how fantastic is it that we have so many players to pick from for man of the match for once?
It's nice for a change, yeah.
It is, yeah,
for sure. Aaron, who was your man of the match?
I would probably either go Lallana or Dan Burn for me, or Sanchez. The two saves that Sanchez made, the first one especially, that first save was an absolute welter.
It was
very good. The fact he's going away from goal, he's taking the deflection, the agility to get your body or your leg up to block it was incredible. And even the second save, it was past him. He's got to move across to his right and make that save. hell of a set. Two just fantastic saves. Like I remember being obviously far end from us, we couldn't really see the first save, but the second save we had a great view. And yeah, I said to my dad, I was like, I can't wait to see that again. When I am sounding like an absolute worldie. But like Tom said, Lallana for me, I think it was a captain's performance from a very, very classy player.
Yeah.
Simple as really for me.
Yeah, exactly that. I would go for the guy you mentioned there, Aaron, just before you picked Adam Lallana. Robert Sanchez for me was top class. Those saves obviously kept us well in the game. And sometimes you really do rely on your goalkeepers to win you a game. I felt like he'd done that. Obviously, I know obviously the two goal scorers, but yeah, as you say, an absolute worldie of a save for that first one. For me, obviously, this isn't speaking from a goalkeeper's perspective. I know you're a keeper, Aaron, but the second one for me was even better than the first. Just how quickly he gets down low to stop that from going in at the far post was brilliant. And he looked really commanding again. We've seen a few games where he's been a bit, I don't know, confidence lacking. Doesn't quite come for crosses, doesn't make the best decisions, but every ball out, every bit of distribution, every claim for a cross, he was the man. You just knew he was going to get it, and I wasn't worried at all. Whereas sometimes in the season I have been. So yeah, my man of the match definitely goes to Robert Sanchez. But the overall then we had 2 votes for Adam Lallana, did we not?
We did. Me and Tom.
Okay, so the Albion obsessed man of the match for yesterday is the main man, Adam Lallana. So yeah, completely well deserved. And every time I see him play for Brighton, I just think we are so lucky.
Yeah,
to have him
it's
back.
still mad.
Yeah. He's won a Champions League. He's won a Premier League.
Yeah.
It's just
also to see Welbeck in the team too is still pretty strange as well.
I thought he looked quite tired towards the end of the second half. But then because I thought that he then played in Alzate, who then had his shot saved. So even when a tired Danny Welbeck has still got that quality, So again, as you say, Kurtis, having these 2 players. Such quality players, what they bring to the side.
Basically, we're a massive team.
we
are going to leave.
We are massive. The one thing I would think with Welbeck, it also gives us a different dimension.
Yeah.
Like the first half, we were playing those sort of long diags into the corners, getting Trossard and Morpay spinning the centre halves. Where second half, we were playing a little bit more direct. We were still playing the diags. But instead of them going over the centre half, they were sort of just looping them up to Welbeck.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, I thought worked really well. He looked good, and I think that's a dimension we've been missing really since Murray. Having that sort of target man, we can sort of play off, and he looked good. First 45 minutes in almost 4 months
in September.
Well, half hour. September, 45 minutes. He's going to be blown a little bit towards the end, but again, he looked good. He looked good. He snatched at 1 or 2 chances, but Christ, like you said, he's been out for 4 months, so that sort of finishing touch will come back, no doubt.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say that as well. He'll just get better after some time.
Talking of Glenn Murray, I actually saw him yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. So I was sat in row Y in the West Stand, so the 1901 club or one of the lounges was behind me, and he was at one of the tables talking to the people having their meal, and I just gave him a wave. He didn't wave back, but it's fine. No, I didn't give him the old that. But
that celebration is still one of my absolute favourite. It's just a hand to your forehead, and it's just great. I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
That and Mikhail's little.
Yeah, definitely. That was iconic. What other iconic celebrations come to mind? Loire, obviously.
Yeah. Apart from Loire, I'm not doing that in my bedroom. I'm not going to start doing front flips.
We have some good ones.
You used to have the Mario Kart. Yeah, that was good, that one. That was where Barnsley, wasn't it?
Yeah, he scored an absolute screamer that day against Barnsley. But we're digressing.
He did. He scored a few decent ones, but yeah, as we say,
like
digressing.
Mope, he misses these tap-ins against Leeds, but then he scores some absolute worldies.
Yeah, but I love Neil Mope's shithouse celebration.
Which he didn't pull out yesterday, which is fair enough.
Did you see
I respected that, to be fair.
Yeah.
The post-match comments he made.
It was really nice. It was really lovely.
Yeah, it was really humble, really honest. I respected that.
I don't get how people, when you listen to Neil Maupay in interviews, he comes across so well educated, so well rounded as a person. Obviously, as you mentioned in the first ever podcast you were on it, Tom, he is a little bugger. But away from the football pitch, he's such a lovely person. And somebody tweeted about having him in his taxi. I don't know if you guys just said that he's just happy to chat football, happy to chat about all that's gone on. And it's just brilliant to see. He's so down to earth and so personable. And obviously, I know away fans won't look at those interviews and see what a nice guy he is. They'll only see what's on the pitch. But I think he's a top bloke, and fans need to stop abusing him because he pulls out goals like that. And I think the commentator said on Match of the Day, 1 goal away from Glenn Murray's record for Brighton.
I think
in the Premier League.
Okay. All right.
So
25 for us in the Premier League, I think Neil Maupay. Yeah.
And that deserves so much more respect, especially with we struggled last year during lockdown. We were playing some really nice football, but we just couldn't score to save our lives. And he's scoring that amount of goals in the side that are struggling to score, which he always pops up and gets us an important goal.
I think he's equaled the same amount of goals as like Ronaldo and stuff.
And Ronaldo,
there you go.
Penalties to his name, so from open play, Maupay's done better. But one thing I will say, and this isn't trying to be cynical or anything, and I think I've said a lot of times on here about how much I rate Neil Maupay, but I do think we rely so heavily on him as our main threat. So when he doesn't play, like against Wolves, we just look so toothless in attack. So what only thing I would say is that it was fantastic as it was yesterday to get a win, to get 2 goals. I hope the club don't use this, especially with Danny Welbeck coming back, don't use this as but we don't need to sign another striker because we've got Neil Maupay or we've got Danny Welbeck coming back. I hope that as I say, I said it when I say it again, I think Maupay will look much better when someone like he's got with Welbeck or another strike partner. I just think how many goals he could get if he had that.
Definitely.
I think they'll look at it come January and they realise we haven't had the strength and depth there in a long time. And like you said, we rely on Maupay, we rely on Welbeck's fitness, we're relying on Trossard now. If they get a long-term injury, like Welbeck has done, or if Maupay gets a long-term injury, then we're back looking at Locadia and Connolly. And Connolly should be nowhere near that squad to start with. When I saw he wasn't on the bench, I was thrilled because I feel like he's stealing a living. And Locadia's Locadia. We all know what he's like.
Yeah.
If you had an option of signing someone, come January, obviously it would be a striker. Where we'll get a striker and how much we'll be able to pay for a striker is a different question.
Yeah.
Look, I just mentioned something quite funny that happened yesterday. As you mentioned, Locadia, and it probably shows how rubbish he is. My foster sister, who comes with me to the football, she's not overly clued up on who plays for us and what players what. And she said to me, Jurgen Locadia, is he an under 23? He seems to be doing well for them. She doesn't watch under 23s or anything. And I was like, no. But I saw him that he was training with them. Yeah, that's because he's not good enough for the first. So, there you go. That explains Locadia all over. And when I mentioned we spent £15 million on him, or however much it was, I think her jaw dropped to the floor. So, yeah.
Also, I do worry about
Aaron's left us.
Aaron, that's nice.
There he is. Sorry, Kurtis.
You heard about the fact that Florin Andone is coming back to the club.
Allegedly, yeah.
And I do worry about the fact that they might be like, well, he's back now, so we'll use him.
But the fact that he's been sent back with comments like his head isn't good enough or whatever the translation was.
Yeah.
He scored, I think, twice, and he's only played about like 100 minutes of football.
He's been injured for the vast majority of his time there, though.
He's not good enough for us. He hasn't got the temperament for it. Based on the fact that how long Potter's been here, and he shipped him out on loan twice. To me, that's him. Potter telling us he's not in my plans. So
well, it's a very clear message. And
I
don't quite get why the club don't try and just, I don't know, mutually terminate his contract or transfer list him or offer him to other clubs or something like that. I don't understand why we keep these players on our books for so long when it's very, very clear that they'll never play a minute of football for us again. I know obviously Lucardi has come on in the cup and maybe a minute or two here and there, but it's very clear that he's not part of Potter's plans and is only making up the numbers. And all the while they're there as well, they're taking so many wages from players that could be well up there in our starting 11 and could be a real option from the bench. So it's frustrating. And it is something I've never quite understood, especially since being in the Premier League, is our transfer policy out of the club, because it only ever seems to be loans and people taking up wages. But they obviously know what they're doing. So, I've never ever touched a football transfer, so who am I to say? But
I suppose it's all right us fans being like, we should get XYZ person, but there's a lot of factors that go into getting these people. So
exactly, that's what people forget, and it's so frustrating in transfer windows when everyone's like, I used to be like it. When I was like 16, 17, on the Twitter, announce this person, announce that person. Why are we so crap at signing people? But now, it's just an understanding that.
But also, if you think back to it, we've made some class signings in the past that have really done well, like Veltman, for instance. He's been a good get, and people like that. So we've made some more sensible, I would say, sensible signings in the past.
Oh, for sure. We made so many class signings. People forget. People are so fickle with this sort of thing. Adam Lallana, Danny Welbeck, Joel Veltman, Pascal Gross, Neil Maupay, Leandro Trossard, Yves Bissouma, bringing Rob Sanchez through the academy, Adam Webster. People forget about these players because they want that one player that's going to get you 20 goals a season. Look, at the end of the day, we're at best a mid-table Premier League football club. We are not going to get a striker that's going to score us 20 Premier League goals.
I mean, it'd be nice, but
it would be lovely. if a player comes in and does that, great. Neil Maupay, I think, has the potential to do that. If we had more creativity around him, because he is a class player. But you're never going to get that at the level that we are. Man City, yes. Liverpool, yes, but not us. 10 goals, 15 goals a season, that's what you need to be looking at.
Probably.
Talking about fans moaning, I just want to bring this up because it's really frustrating me at the moment that fans are directing their frustrations towards TV times and TV games at the club when it's not anything really to do with the club, and that Sky Sports, BT Sports, Amazon Prime, etc. Tow us along. Really, it's their say so. It's their final word. And I even saw somebody tweet that they're never going to go to a Brighton and Hove Albion football match again, or for as long as Sky Sports are showing football matches on their broadcasting channels. What do you guys think of that? And where should that anger be vented?
I think it's a little bit pathetic to say you're never going to go to a Brighton game again because Sky, because of Sky's scheduling. Ever since when you get promoted to the Premier League, you will have a lot more Sunday kickoffs. You'll have a lot more Saturday 5:30 kickoffs, 12:30 kickoffs. It's the way it is. It's the way it's been for the last 10, 15 years. For me, the anger is at Sky. It is the way I look at it is we're playing Premier League football. If you can get there, get there. If you can't, it's one of those things. You know, there's no point taking your anger out on the club. I think it's one of those. It's Boxing Day, 8:00 in the evening. You know, you're waiting around all day to go. Right, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. I'm not going to say it is. Hence why there was a lot of empty seats yesterday, which is completely understandable. But some mindsets of, I'm not going to the club until Sky leave or Sky schedulings get sorted. It never will. Sky said they pay. TV runs football. Simple as. Not the football clubs will have the rights to say, oh no, we want to stay on a Saturday 3:00 kickoff, or we won't play. We will rather play this or that. They will look at the fixture list and go, right. Prime example is the Palace game coming up. Well, the case is coming up in January. Why on earth is that going to be a Friday 8:00 kickoff? Is mad. It should be Sunday 12:00. Straightforward. Just pure and simple policing would be a lot easier, be less trouble. But putting it as a Friday night you're asking for it. Yeah, you're asking for it big time, because you're going to have the scummy lot going out drinking all day, doing nothing because they haven't got any jobs. Then they're going to come down on the train, give it all the big un, then make their way into the town centre or city centre, cause chaos, go to the game, cause more chaos. You got to remember they're the ultras. They're the best away fans in the Premier League, the best home fans in the Premier League as well. You've got to be really. They have got a drum. They've got a drum, and they're really scary with the. Oh, idiots! Everyone ignore them.
Right, we've got the Brighton Brawlers.
Oh yeah, watch out!
Yeah.
Watch out, boys!
Watch out, Palace.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. It's just a bit silly. Like it is what it is. Football is controlled by Sky, by TV, by BT, Amazon, etc. So that's where the money comes from. If there's no Sky, there's no Amazon, there's no BT, the clubs won't get a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, really.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, as well, that these are the same people that are screaming for us to sign a striker. And Kurtis, who's giving us that money to sign a striker?
That'll be the fans and stuff like that.
Definitely not the fans. It's 100% from the TV.
Yeah,
money.
obviously. But the thing is also, I can guarantee that the players, the manager, and all that don't want to be playing at 8:00 on Boxing Day. So it's not. There's not so much they can do, really.
Well, managers come out and talk about it. Jurgen Klopp has mentioned the fixture list many, many times, and people always banter him because of it. But at the end of the day, these are the people that are at the front line of having to play and prep for these times, which are sometimes really silly. And I can only echo what you said, Aaron, is that the anger should be angled at Sky, at BT, at the broadcasters. Sorry, Aaron, you was going to say something else just then.
The thing is with Jurgen Klopp, he moans about the Christmas scheduling. It's been this way for years. You always have Boxing Day, 28th. Normally, well, it used to be New Year's Day. Why is someone coming over here telling us we should change this, we should change that? You have a big enough squad, rotate. No, he always says it's the Christmas scheduling. Doesn't blame it on TV, doesn't blame it on it. It's literally just the Premier League should do something about it. No, I disagree. It's been like that way for before any of us were born. There's nothing wrong with it. People love the fact we have Boxing Day football. Christmas for me is I always say it's the 3 F's. It's family, football, and food. It's always been that way ever since I can remember. Like going to Boxing Day football was always a tradition for me and my dad. Like I think the first Boxing Day game we missed was last year. Other than that, we try and go to as many as we possibly can because it's just the way it is, the way we like it. And I think some of the foreign managers just want it their way. Doesn't happen. The winter break, I can understand wanting the winter break to a certain degree because of player welfare, but then you have a 25-man squad. You're playing 3 games in 7 days. Rotate. It's not hard. Like, it's really not hard. I understand his frustration regarding the Carabao Cup, like that, the 2-leg semi-finals. Just do 1 leg. It's easy. I don't know why they do 2 legs anyway. But other than that, I think there's nothing wrong with the Christmas schedule at all. That's my personal opinion. But I think because people like that, people like having, knowing they can go to work, go to football, and knowing they have to go for work the next day. Apart from me, but it is what it is.
And it is quite a pivotal moment in the season around now, isn't it?
Yeah,
because there's so many
100%.
games packed together and there's so many points up for grabs. And it does provide that excitement for fans. I agree.
Although you could say it's a little bit more difficult with the COVID cases and stuff and whatnot in regards to rotation, but I get your point, though, Aaron. Definitely.
I think with the COVID cases, it is what it is with that sort of thing. You can't take that into account before picking a squad. It could just happen at any given moment. Like the cricket last night, they had to pause it because they were having to rush COVID cases just in case COVID test, because they thought some players might have COVID. Right, so it could happen at any point.
Yeah,
but it's more the fact you have a 25-man squad plus under 23s. If the worst comes to worst, just put some of the under 23s on the bench. Play some for example, like Wolves. Wolves is a prime example.
Yeah,
look at our bench against Wolves. We didn't moan about it. Yes, we wanted it to be abandoned, but we didn't go, oh no, we should have had it abandoned. Yeah. This is a disgrace. Blah blah blah. We just go on with it because it is what it is. We can't change it.
I like that from us as well. Is that we're not a club that's going to cause issues. Well, I think, obviously I don't know because I've never dealt with our corporate side of being a football club, but I feel like we're probably quite a nice club to deal with. We've got some really nice people in our board. Obviously Tony Bloom is a lovely guy as well. I've met him a few times. I've met Paul Barber a few times as well, and I feel what people say about Paul Barber is completely unfair as well. I know he's made a few comments, but that's just because he's a businessman. At the end of the day, he's doing a job. He's not a Brighton fan. He's not like Tony Bloom. He's not a Brighton fan. He's doing a job and he's doing an amazing job. I saw somebody call him a corporate pig yesterday. Absolutely not. He's doing the best job he possibly can. And the stuff he's done for this football club is second to none. And we have one of the best boards in the I think in the world.
We're quite lucky.
100%. Tom, what do you think on fans' comments about our board and especially about Paul Barber? Because, as I say, they are quite harsh.
I think with the Barber thing, I think he rightfully got stick when he mentioned us as supporters, as customers, instead of fans. And he got a lot of flack for that. And I think, fair enough. But as you say, we've got a fantastic board. We've got a fantastic set of owners. And our boardroom is filled with people who know how to run a football club. And unfortunately, as Aaron says, whether you like it or not, when you step into that world of the Premier League, you need to handle the business side of it as well as the football side of it, because it's not just as simple as it was back when we were playing at the Withdean. And I think some fans, they have this sort of like nostalgia about the Withdean, and times were simpler back then when it was Dick Knight and we were playing at the Theatre of Trees and all of this, but we're not there anymore, and we've got to go with the times. And I think that there's a lot of anger out there, it was really sad for me to see anger from fans directed at other fans who weren't going to the game. And I think you've got to take the context. We're in the middle of a pandemic still. Cases are going through the roof. You've got a ground that is really only accessible through public transport on a night where there was no public transport. And you get people giving each other grief over these silly little things about, not going because they wanted to spend time with their family and stuff.
Yeah. What annoyed me most was the people that were moaning because they were going. And like I mentioned to you on the group chat, Tom, as you said back to me when I spoke about that, you said you would absolutely do anything to be at that football ground. And see those boys playing. So
I would love to
really frustrate myself.
Yeah. I live 200 miles away, and I know I've said it before, but I live 200 miles away. Being away from my home, being away from my football club, is a constant source of pain. And that sounds really dramatic, but it is. And I would give pretty much anything to have gone to that game last night with my dad. I really would have done. So I don't think a lot of fans understand how lucky how good they've got it. Just had it on their doorstep. And that's only to the fans that are moaning, by the way. To the ones that didn't want to go because they wanted to spend time with their families or because they've got anxiety over COVID. I have no issue with those fans at all because I think, fair play to you because that's obviously a decision that you've taken. But for people that are going and bloody moaning about it, give me your season ticket because I didn't bloody moaning.
Yeah, that's true.
It is honestly frustrating. Kurtis, it's no secret. Obviously, you've not been to a game because obviously you do have those anxieties about crowds, etc. Obviously, with COVID as well. You mentioned to us about your immune system, and as soon as this pandemic will never be over. The COVID is always going to be with us, right? I'm sick of people saying, "Oh, once COVID's gone, it's never going to be."
Once we learn how to control it better, I think is the best way to do it.
That moment for you when you can finally go to a football game and feel comfortable at a football game will just be such an incredible feeling for you. And I'm so excited for you as well. And I really hope that there's some way we can arrange it so all of us can share that moment with you because I feel like that would be quite fitting.
I can't wait to see us lose 2-0 to Watford. It's gonna be really great.
So good. But when you see fans moaning about having, the way they word it is like we have to go. What do you feel like when you see that?
Well, I'm in a somewhat of a similar position to Tom because I live quite a distance away from the stadium. I'm only about maybe 2.5 hours away, but still, that's 2.5 hours on a Boxing Day where there's no buses running. Like the trains aren't easily accessible for me, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I was considering going to the game on Boxing Day. I thought, oh, this would be interesting. That could be fun. But again, I don't have a COVID passport or anything of these other things either. And there was just a lot of factors that went against me there too. And I was like, you know what? I just prefer to be with my family and watch it on the television. So that's what I did. And again, it reminds me of this whole, you weren't at the with Dean, so you don't have an opinion. It's like, I see a lot of like people trying to gatekeep because they have season tickets or they go to every single game. It's like, just F off. Like, I support any way I can, and this is the way I do it. So
exactly.
But I'm on a bloody Brighton podcast, for God's sake. We talk about them all the time.
the very best, may I add. I actually got a comment yesterday, which was really lovely. I was walking through the West Stand, and somebody went, "Hey, it's Albion obsessed," because that's my name now. Apparently.
Hey,
thank you, fan. Thank you very much, fan.
And they were like, "I love your work." I was like, "Oh, thank you. That's cool." So it is nice. We are getting views. We are getting people interested in whatever comes out of our mouths because sometimes it is drivel, especially from me.
It's nice to hear that.
I'll say mainly from me, to be fair.
Let's go.
Let's go. No, it's fine. But yeah, hopefully, as I say, Curtis, we'll be able to share that moment.
Yeah, we'll sort something out definitely.
Eventually, when we can sort something. But who knows what's going to be announced this week? But we won't get political on this podcast. No way. We've got quite a busy period coming up, and we've got a couple of things planned as well to bring to you content wise. Just thought I would point it out as well at this point that myself, Tom, and Aaron are all wearing away shirts, and that is to support Shelter. It is the No Home Kit movement on sure you can see it on Twitter and everywhere. We'll put a link in the description as well. If you can donate, please do. Anything I'm sure would help that cause.
Incredibly worthy cause.
Absolutely. Just hopefully bring a smile to somebody's face over this festive period for sure. But as I say, we do have some things coming up. We're going to do a little exciting episode soon where we give each other a £50 million budget, and we're going to go shopping, guys, for footballers. So that could be quite fun. Obviously, we've got Chelsea coming up as well, and then Everton away after New Year. There's plenty of content coming your way for sure. Let's just have a quick word on the Chelsea game. Obviously, if it goes ahead, a lot of games are sort of in question, but Chelsea played at the weekend, so I'm sure it will. Kurtis, are you confident?
Somewhat. I've got to be honest. Like I'm not too worried. I'm thinking it could even be like a draw, like a 0-0 or a 1-1. It's something like that. I don't feel. I'm feeling somewhat confident about it, but we haven't been smashed yet, so that's a good thing
City,
to go on.
maybe,
Apart from City, yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. We'll forget about that one.
That is Man City.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm feeling somewhat optimistic, but if I was to give it like a prediction, I would say like a 0-0 or a 1-1, something like that.
Cool, no problem. We're going for a score or a ball draw.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Tom, what are you thinking for the Chelsea game midweek?
I don't know if it's because we won yesterday, but I'm feeling quite optimistic. I reckon we could nick something.
Go on, Tom.
Oh, go on.
I don't know. I reckon that we might come away with a win. I don't know if you guys watched the game against Villa yesterday, or if you saw any of the highlights, but
I did.
In the first half, especially, Chelsea looked dead ordinary.
Really?
And I think it was just the Villa gave away a penalty towards the end of the first half. But I just thought to myself, like, what I watched it with my brother-in-law. I reckon if Chelsea play like that, we could get something. So I'm going to be really optimistic. I'm going to go 2-1 to Brighton.
Like it.
Lovely. We'll take that. That would be our first ever win at Stamford Bridge, I want to say.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I don't think we've actually beat. I was going through this in my head the other day. We've beaten Arsenal. We've beaten City. We've beaten United.
Liverpool.
We've beaten Tottenham. We've beaten Liverpool. We haven't beaten Chelsea yet, so that would be quite nice to round the year off. Aaron, are you feeling confident?
No, I think it's going to be difficult. It'll be difficult. I think Chelsea will realise how bad they were on Saturday or yesterday, sorry, and they'll make changes to fit. I feel like we might make changes purely because the game at Everton, I think, is more winnable than the Chelsea game.
Yeah.
I would rather look at Chelsea as a free hit, than focus on the Sunday game at Everton.
Yeah.
I think it'll be 2-0 Chelsea. I reckon they'll make the changes. They'll start Lukaku. They looked good when Lukaku came on yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
They just sort of upped it a couple of gears, and you never know. They might make changes. They might make changes. Complete opposite to what I've just said. They may rest Lukaku, or they may start Pulisic up front where he does nothing because he can't hit a barn door. But
he's going to score now.
Watch him score 2 goals. But like my main focus would be on Everton myself.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, definitely. I think you're right.
I'm still there.
We don't particularly play well at Goodison Park either. To be honest, these two games, we got a point last year at Stamford Bridge, which was a very dull affair because obviously that was where the Super League was all kicking off and fans where protests happening outside. Right. So that game was really sort of overlooked. Really, it was on, but it wasn't really the main talking point. It was literally 0-0. I don't think anything happened in the entire game. Because I think the players were a little bit like, especially our players. Like we wore the Champions League tops. You earn it, not buy it, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I think we made our opinions very, very clear. And then I think it was maybe like half hour into the game, there was news filtering through that Chelsea are putting out the Super League.
Right.
And then I remember watching it and thinking, well, this isn't a surprise. And I'm pretty sure we turned over to Sky Sports News during the game to see what was actually going on, because it was like, well, this game, nothing is happening. Everyone's heads were elsewhere, and you could tell, to be honest.
I so wanted us to beat them that day because of the whole Super League thing. And I remember coming up against, I think we played Tottenham and Liverpool in quick succession that season as well. And we beat both of them. And I just felt
that was great.
I was so proud of us. How dare you try and break away from competing against teams like us where we can go toe to toe with you. It was brilliant.
Well, I think with the whole Super League thing, it was just owners wanting more money.
Yeah, exactly.
We just greed. I don't, especially it's all America. It's the American owners pushing for it.
Yeah,
they don't really care. They don't really give to flying.
Because they run their sports like a business. That's
they
how
do.
They
Yeah,
do it.
It's franchise.
They call it soccer.
Yeah, well, I was about to say,
But yeah, but going back to predictions, Aaron's going with a 2-0 loss. I'm unfortunately going to back that up. I don't think we're going to lose 2-0. I'll just go 1-0. I feel like we'll defend quite well, but I think Chelsea would be a little bit too strong for us and break through and get at least one. Even a silly penalty or something like that. And you know what Jorginho's like with penalties. He doesn't miss often. So I think we will lose that one. But as you say, Aaron, it is a free hit. And I would much rather focus on Everton because they're not amazing this season, are they?
Well, their best performance was against us.
Yeah.
And my dad constantly says, like, Everton are the best team we've had at the Amex till City. And I've watched Everton. I'm like, how? I was like, how? I was like, tell me. I was like, they have nothing.
Yeah.
Benitez is them.
Benitez has Benitez them. Yeah, he really has.
It's kind of like
Liverpool undercover.
It's like watching Norwich yesterday. It's like watching the Norwich game. I was like, how did we not beat Norwich?
Don't even get me started on that. Jeez.
Oh yeah, I watched the first half and I was like, they are so bad. I said to my dad, I was like, how do we lose to this? Draw. Well, to be fair, we got battered. To be fair, against them. I don't know how we didn't lose that game.
To be honest,
because I had Sargent missed an open goal. They had goal line clearances, and it was just like, and then you watch them, it was like they are so toothless.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
let's just hope. Sorry, go on, Aaron. I was going to say, let's just hope we turn them over at the Amex, and make up for it a bit. But
they'll probably be down by then.
Yeah, maybe, and then beat us.
Yeah, I was going to say they'll probably beat us. Yeah,
but we've got to talk about the fact that how high up we are in the table at this point with the points that we have is pretty fantastic.
9 points better off than we were this time last year.
Yeah, how many places? Like 7 or 8 places higher, or something stupid like that, which is amazing. I'm really sort of.
I would just
we've been moaning a lot,
love it,
but it's good.
Exactly, I just absolutely love it if we got to the end of the season and we could just relax a bit.
Yeah,
nice,
we haven't been able to do that once in the Premier League. Last season watching it from home was absolute hell. I'm sure it would have been worse in the stadium. But yeah, watching us go out against teams like Sheffield United and not beat them, and
I was talking about that game on the way on the park and ride yesterday.
That was awful.
So frustrating, wasn't it? And then I know we had a couple of really good games towards the end of the season against Newcastle and Leeds that eventually kept us up. But yeah, it was just so painful. So I would like a nice, comfortable finish, and to finish above Palace, please. That's all I ask for next year is for us to finish above Palace. But as I say, plenty more content coming at you from Albion Obsessed in the next week or so. And we can't wait for it. So, it's going to be great. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas, you guys included. I'm sure you did. We will see you next time. Might not be until the new year. What are we doing, guys? Oh, Tom wants to go.
I put my hand up. And I don't want to start a domestic, but don't forget, we've still got 5-6 days on our Albion Obsessed team draft. So get your votes in if you haven't done already.
Indeed. Go over to Albion Obsessed, which is just above Kurtis's head right there. Indeed. Yep, that way. There you go. Go over there. It's on our pinned tweet. Vote blue and white, and you won't go far wrong.
Yeah,
not going
to bite. How about that, boys?
I'm not going to bite.
No, okay, cool. I think Toby just wanted me to say.
He did have a
I'm not interested.
Where is it? Hold on.
I said no domestics, children. No domestics.
I can't find it. Where is
I thought we weren't going to get political, huh?
Maybe not. I can't find it anyway. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you have made it this far into the podcast, tweet us with
hashtag pray for Joe and Toby.
Yes. Yeah, fine. Yeah, we'll go with
Vicente.
Or we got to win or something.
Yeah, hashtag blame
Fire.
Curtis Cat. Fire! Let's
Fire!
go.
Yeah.
Anyway, right.
Hashtag
cool.
let's go.
Right, we'll see you all next time. If we don't speak to you before the new year, have a wonderful new year, and we will speak to you very soon. Take care, up the Albion, and see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later, kids.